Hey guys, how you doing this morning? Welcome to the Academy Answers podcast, and this is your Sunday motivation, something that I try to plug in at the beginning of the week so that you can get a perspective, a different perspective, maybe something I can stimulate in your head, in your mind, in your life that will make you think differently, that will make you change, because we all know that we cannot want to change and remain in the same old habit. They say that human beings want to change, but they wish that everything else would change except themselves. So we keep looking out, we keep looking on, and we never look within. So this is the Academy Answers podcast. If it's the first time here, welcome you. Thanks for listening. And on this podcast, we talk about personal development, success, happiness, and full potential, because we believe the human life is here for a specific reason. We believe what burns in you, your spirit, that desire that drives you, that sit in your soul all day long, that is constantly irking your mind. We believe that that is who you are meant to be. And most of us are living in another way. We have copped out on that, and we're pretty much living in a place that we ended up, or living in a place that we followed some other people to, and we conform. And because of conformity, ease, and fear, those three, conformity, ease, and fear, we have shortchanged ourselves, we have shortchanged the world. And that is why everybody is so stressed. That's why everybody is so unhappy, because we're square pegs in round holes. We're uncomfortable. We're out of place. We're not fitting because we are living as someone else other than we were created to live as. And we all have that in us. We all have that bit of us that is directed or is designed to go in a certain direction, designed to do a certain thing. So I'll tell you the story shortly to kind of bring home the point of what I want to talk about today. And it is, I'm also highlighting one main reason why we don't go into action, why we don't pursue something powerful for our lives, why we don't get into the zone and on the journey that we should get onto. So when I was a little boy, I remember one day we used to have this outside kitchen and also an inside kitchen. So this was a kind of attached structure, a makeshift structure with a couple of zincs, 4 posts, and some more zincs around the side to kind of cover it up. It's old-fashioned, old-time Caribbean, African descent building structure. So that we made grandma made a wood fire where all our meals were created in morning, noon, night. That's where we had our meals. Our meals came from that little thing. So the inside kitchen was what we call an inside kitchen, because outside kitchens were so popular and commonplace, anything that is built onto the main building, the house, we call it an inside kitchen. And then there were inside bathroom and outside bathrooms, all that stuff. We'll get into that another time. But Grandma, I was in the outside kitchen, and Grandma told me to go inside to get some sugar from one of the cupboards that was inside. Now, the cupboard was taller than I could get to easily. So I went in there, realized that apparently Grandma thought it was on the lower shelf, realized that it was on the higher shelf. So I said, okay, how do I get this now? So I started to jump to pull it down. Jump to pull it down. Jump to pull it down. I was barely touching it. Barely touching it. And every time I think I was closer, I still never got it until time was running out, and I felt like a lot of time has passed. So I made a big jump, clutched onto it. I didn't have a good handle on it, coming back down to hit the ground with my feet. and it spilled all over the place. The little cap that was on it flew off, and there goes all the sugar all over the place. And when I went to grandma and told her, she said that there's a chair right there. You could have put the chair right next to this thing and climb up and get this thing from the cupboard. But you jumped to catch it. And when you jump to catch things, your control over it is not entirely in your control, for want of a better way to put it. So the handle you will have on it is not entirely in your control. And what I learned from that is that jumping up to something is different from moving up to something, or climbing up to something, or advancing to something. Jumping up is pretty much skipping the steps. So there's a gap between what you want and where you want to go, and that gap, you can either climb to it, you can grow to it, or you can try to jump to it. If you jump to it, you pretty much don't actually get to have it at the highest level, or at the best, in the best position for you to have control of it. If you climb to it, then you will be comfortable at the level to get it, and you can do what you want to do with it. You have better control, it lasts longer, that sort of thing. So I want to tell you this week, that whatever you have going on in your life, whatever you're reaching for, whatever you're aspiring for, you will look up and see it. These are the days of social media. Everything is out there. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. You know, people see things, but what we often see and what we look at, it's stage 10. Somebody's stage 12. Somebody's stage 50. And we want to get to that stage. We're inspired or motivated, one or the other. But we don't want to climb to it or grow to it. We want to jump to it because it is happening in front of our face and we're not seeing the backstory. So we think that, okay, we can get this thing. And because marketers are the way they are, they try to sell you on this quick fly-by-night microwave thing. And we jump and we jump and we jump. And while we might see a little bit of result, we pretty much can't sustain, we can't scale, because we have not grown to the level. We don't have control of it. We are just jumping in and jumping up, and we pretty much don't have all the stages locked in. So don't compare yourself. Don't compare your early stage with someone else's 10 years ago, 10 years in, 15 years in stage. Measure where you are, appreciate and understand that there's a process, and embark on the process. Don't try to skip the steps. Go for what you want, but grow to what you want, climb to what you want. Don't jump to what you want, because then you will not have the skills and the base to maintain it. Have a powerful week, have a productive week. Thanks for joining me today. This has been the Academic Answers Podcast. Always a pleasure. Thank you.